Why did Ping ruin the best golf club that they have ever made in my eyes? Find out, shall we? And into the clubhouse. Club feels and sounds of the club face when hit. So at this point in the video, you're probably wondering, Simon, why have you got a different pair of trousers, shirt, top and hat on? And it's because it's the next day. The 15th consecutive trick shot. Thank you for everyone watching the video, supporting the videos. As a thank you, I'm going to do another second trick shot throughout this video. And I really appreciate everyone's feedback and support, especially over the last 2 weeks. And today's topic, Ping's best golf club, in my eyes, they've ever made. And this is purely because I used to, and I still can, suggest this particular model to absolutely everyone. Scratch player all the way to complete beginner. It's ultra forgiving, it's ultra distance, it's ultra versatile, it's ultra everything. And I'd love to hear if you disagree, because that is a big, bold statement. And the newer models that they brought out tailors more to that low handicap golfer. And even though the newer product is good, it's just the same as every other brand's version. But this one sat in its own little niche by itself and stood out from the crowd. And I have got one today that I'm very excited, because it's the first time I've ever got one in X Stiff. For starters, it's low lofted, but this thing is chunky, it's monster, it's bulky, and you can have a swing speed of 60 miles an hour or 110 miles an hour, and this thing is going to find fairways. They don't make them like they used to. Springs to mind. Have a look at the sole on it. That thing is thick. And this is the whole reason why I love this golf club. I personally, like a lot of you, can't hit a hybrid. Never got on with them. It's something to do with my confidence, aesthetic, strange mentality, whatever it is. But this thing at address, I can get behind. And let's not get it wrong, this is essentially a hybrid at this point. But the way it's shaved at the back, has an unbelievably big sole, gives me high launch, forgiveness, finding fairways, confidence, you name it. And we have an X Stiff version, which I've never hit until today. And these things aren't cheap in the second-hand market. Slightly backs up my thoughts and reasoning. You're easily selling these for £100. Now, I do want to give you a little tip. They don't do well in auctions. So if you want to get hold of one of these after this video, try and find some auctions. Hopefully they've not got much action, and you'll probably be able to pick up one for £50. Otherwise, we're looking at £100 for these clubs. And the G400, the updated version, the G410, the updated version, and apart from the G425, go for exactly the same amount of money. Now, I've had the pleasure of hitting the G400 and the G410, and in their own rights, they are good golf clubs. As each model progressed and a new one came out, and sadly I haven't been able to try the G425, which does look a bit similar to this one, i.e. wider sole, more forgiving, higher launching. Other two were just being tailored to that P790 UDI or Srixon ZU85. You know what I'm talking about, the big utility irons that tour pros use. 1 irons, 2 irons. You need a club head speed of at least 100 miles an hour to get this thing off the ground and get enough carry. Opposed to this, which you could get it in a 3, a 4, a 5, stiff, X Stiff, regular flex, and it could be a multitude of different things. This, personally for me, and a lot of people that I've played with that are very good golfers, is a fairway finder. This tee shot that you see here, I pull it left, it goes massively offline, but guess what? It is still in play, and that is what we want. Confidence, and under pressure, we're still going to be in play. Versus maybe a slightly slower swing speed player, but needs that jump from their 6 iron, for example, all the way to their 5 fairway wood, and you put a regular flex 5 in the bag of one of these, and it's going to do the job. Give you that launch, give you that height, and most importantly, give you the forgiveness. And whilst we're on the topic of versatility, you might watch my Sports Direct video on the chipper. Well, having one of these in the bag, or even just using your hybrid, to be fair, gives you the same kind of level of confidence of just bumping and running it and hoping it goes in. And for those reasons, that is why I feel like this is the best golf club that Ping has ever made. It's so versatile and so adaptable to so many people's different games, depending on what they want from it. That being said, if you get on with hybrids, there is nothing that this does that they can't. But for someone like myself that just can't get their head around a hybrid, I just don't have confidence. I think I had a bad season when I was very young, put the hybrid in a bag and I kept blocking it, snap hooking it and could never hit the thing straight. This thing is essentially a placebo effect of what a hybrid is. It just looks like it's got more loft, it just looks like it's got more forgiving, and I feel like I can keep the club face at the target longer when I see an iron face compared to a hybrid. Tell you what, I'm going to be incredibly impressed if Shot Tracer picks this one up. Right, this is definitely going to be a work in progress one, this one. I'll be very impressed if Shot Tracer is even able to pick it up. If anything, I flushed it, just massively left, which isn't too dissimilar to my normal game, to be fair. Now, these things aren't cheap, and I'm not saying go out and get one straight away. I'm just saying these things were very unique to themselves, and it kind of sang to me as that player that needs a fairway finder, always looking for that 2-iron, 3-iron that gets me down the middle. And even though these things do go for £100, I, myself, have spent upwards of £500 on a driver in my lifetime. Custom fitting, 300 for the head, 200 for an aftermarket shaft, and then, lo and behold, spent 2.5 years playing professional golf at a county level and only hitting driving irons. Therefore, something that's as versatile as this potentially is worth spending a bit more money on, because it's going to get used. It's going to get used off the tee, it's going to get used off the fairway, potentially it's going to get used around the green, and that is something that you've really got to think about when investing in your golf bag. I don't mind people spending £200, £300 on a putter, because guess what? It's going to be used for 50% of the entire game. When beginners, intermediate players just start the game and spend £450 on a driver that is used maximum 14 times throughout 18 holes, well, that just seems a bit silly to me. So to give you a side-by-side comparison, on the left here I have my Lynx VT driving iron that I currently use at the moment, and this, in my eyes, is very chunky. This would be a lot chunkier, let's say, than a P790 or the Suksen U85, whatever it might be. Majority of driving irons out there, and the reason you don't want them super chunky is because good ball strikers actually want to be able to flight their 1-iron, 2-iron, 3-iron, don't want all the centre of gravity at the back of the club, meaning that they can actually flight it. Lynx player, X, Y and Z, want to have some element of control, whereas me, on the other hand, I just need it 240 yards forward. Hence why you can see the difference between the two of them and how much chunkier and more like your traditional driving irons. And I'm sure it's better for their sales, it's just not as good for my fairway finding. The next element, which I honestly think is probably the most important, is how this club feels and sounds off the club face when hit, which is completely different to any other hybrid utility iron, not just ping, but any of them. And the main reason that I think this is great, it's not coming off the club any faster, but it's more of a case of it's giving that confidence that you don't have to put as much in. Therefore, you could probably swing it smoother, slower, within yourself, and even if your club head speed's slower, because you're hanging out in the middle and you've got that confidence, the ball speed's going to be higher because the impact's just there. I'm really glad that one went in. So at this point in the video, you're probably wondering, Simon, why have you got a different pair of trousers, shirt, top and hat on? And it's because it's the next day. And at the end of the video, I'll show you exactly what I was trying to attempt for the second trick shot of this video. It's a bit out there, and unfortunately, well, you'll see today, the car park's a bit busier, let's say, hence why I wasn't able to attempt the same thing today, but I was committed to getting the second trick shot for this video. And I probably should clarify what I was trying to say whilst doing that trick shot, as when I noticed it got in, my mind just went into a blur. I was like, oh, thank goodness I can go and edit this bad boy. It's just a confidence builder, just like any cavity back in this game. Any big chunky iron is going to give you confidence, so that if you do miss hit it left, right, whatever it is, it's going to throw the ball up in the air and you're still going to be able to cut down the length of the golf course. That shot that I just hit there, outrageous distance, downwind here on the third, and I don't think I've ever been this far with even my driver, but that's because it threw it up into the sky, into the stratosphere, and it sailed on the wind, and that's not necessarily what you always want in this game. So I'm not saying it's the best golf club for absolutely everyone, but for a good portion that isn't looking for necessarily the controlled aspect of this game, and knows their swing inside out, and knows what head type, shaft, grip that they definitely need, this, for the average golfer, the one that wants to get it round and wants something to give them confidence in the rough, out the trees, the pitch, the putts, and also those tee shots, I mean, it's pretty good. Right, let me show you what I was attempting yesterday, hence the outfit change, and we will nail this one, but the car park's gonna have to be a bit emptier than it is today. This is the one that we all wanted to know about. is it good enough at getting us out the car park and then into the clubhouse? And then into the clubhouse. It's off the tarmac and then into the clubhouse. One that we all need, and when it comes to versatility, the tarmac and then into the clubhouse. So guys, if you can get a hold of one of these for 60, 70, 50 pounds, something like that, it's a great little tool just to go and have a play about with. It might not go in the bag forever, but it's something very unique, and to be honest, there's nothing in the market that came out this year that I think resembles it, unless you can get on with a hybrid. If you like this video, leave it a like, subscribe if you're new. Appreciate all the support. See you later.